welcome to our first beginner yoga specific video. So this video is designed for people who have really never done any yoga before, or if you have and you want to bring it back to the very basics and learn a little more or have a good recap on safe alignment, utilization of breath, how to breathe when we practice yoga, and some general relaxation strategies towards the end of the practice. This practice will be pretty simple, so it's suitable for everyone. I'm going to give suggestions of modifications and changes to postures that you may need depending on your body and what's happening for you. So just do the best that you can, and once you've seen it, if you still have any questions, feel free to email me. You've got my contact details through the studio website, so if you have specific questions for your own body, if you have something going on with your own body that you need ideas of what to do to help it, you can just contact me and we can have a chat about that, and then you can put those individual cues into your own practice going forward. So let's begin. Find yourself into a comfortable seat. A cross leg is ideal, but if that's not comfortable for you, you can sit in any way. If you find your cross leg looks a little like this and you've got knees up around your ears, you might want to get like a big sturdy book, like a thick book, or a pillow or something like that, just to sit up on. And when you sit up on something higher, it gives a bit more freedom for your hip flexors, and it can create a bit more comfort into these comfortable seats. Once you're happy with what you've chosen, just rest your hands down on your knees and close down your eyes. Let your shoulders just drop away from the ears. It's like the collarbones and shoulder blades rest on the rib cage beneath. Soften the jaw, the forehead. Notice if there's any gripping in the thighs or the legs. See if you can release that as well. Now sit really tall through the crown of the head without picking up any tension anywhere else in the body, without the shoulders lifting. Find some tone to the low belly. The space between pubic bone and belly button, just draw it gently in and up. Good. Now notice if the posture has become somewhat rigid, and just soften around the edges. You may notice a natural sway. That's fine. Now keep all of that and pay attention to your breath. How we breathe is a vital part of the yoga practice. Really, that's what makes this movement yoga, these movements yoga. So what I would like you to do is focus your breath right down into your belly. Imagine your lungs a little like a cup. So you're filling from the bottom to the top and emptying from the top to the bottom. As you inhale, notice the belly expand and then the chest. And as you exhale, the chest drops back and then the belly pulls in, using some abdominal strength there. Good. Again, as you inhale, belly expands out and then chest, you fill all the way up. As you exhale, chest drop back down, then belly pulls in. Do this for a few more rounds, just connecting in with that rhythmic flow. By breathing like this, you use the full capacity of your lungs. It can improve respiratory systems. And it really just helps us focus and stay present. Yoga is a practice of mindfulness, essentially. You're on your mat, just on your mat. Now, if this breath is feeling comfortable for you. It's no longer complicated. Start to place what we call a tone to the base of your throat. Now, it's as if you're breathing in and out through your mouth, but your mouth is closed. So you can feel the breath drag down the back of the throat on your breath in. You can feel it pass up the back of the throat on the breath out. If you're struggling with that, open your mouth and breathe in through the mouth. Notice the breath passing down back of throat. Again, breathe out through the mouth. Notice breath passing up. And then do that with your mouth closed, but get that same sensation. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Breath strokes the back of the throat. It's an audible sound. You can hear it. It's very subtle and a little quiet. It sounds a bit like waves in the ocean. We call it an ujjayi breath. Just try and play with that for a few moments. Breath in, belly expands, sound through back of throat. Breath out, belly draws back, breath passes up and out the nose. 3 more rounds. One more round. Good. Try and keep that type of breath for the duration of this practice. You will absolutely find that you lose it occasionally, and that's okay. It becomes more familiar as you get more familiar with the movements. There's a lot to think about. On your next breath in, sit very tall through the crown of your head. Keep the belly pulling in. As you exhale, take a twist to the left. Take your left fingertips behind you and your right hand over to your left knee. Whenever we twist, you want to reduce any slouching of the spine. So sit tall, drop the shoulders down, and then use your breath out. Maybe some strength in your hands to twist deeper. You might even look back over your left shoulder. Keep the right hip drawing back. The twist wants to be from belly button up. You want to stop the hips going with you if possible. Take another full breath here. Good. Keep the twist, but just hover your hands for a moment. You'll notice the core pick up here. And then ever so slowly, you can release the twist back to center. Breath in, sit tall. Breath out, twist over towards your right. Drop the shoulders, narrow the shoulder blades. Maybe look back if it's okay on your neck. And then re-square the hips to the front. So it's like you're trying to untwist the low body and twist the top of the body. Take another breath here, big breath in. Exhale, twist deeper if it's available to you. Maintain the twist. Hover the hands, feel the core pick up here. And then slowly and purposely untwist back to center. Take a big roll of your shoulders up and back and down. Good. Make your way up and over onto your all fours. We call it tabletop position here. Really important to align your body properly. So let's start with the hands. Palms down on the ground. Spread your fingers really wide so you can see the mat between your fingers. And then press into your fingertips and your thumb pad here. Your elbows are directly over your wrists and your shoulders are directly over your elbows and wrists. So the joints are all stacking. And then look back at your legs. Your knees need to be hip width apart, so directly under the hips. And toes can be tucked or untucked. Tucked toes will give you better balance. Untucked, I actually prefer, but try both and see which one works best for your body. Moving with your breath and just finding some space into the spine. As you inhale, drop your pelvis forward. Lift your sternum and look up. It's like you're pulling your hands back towards your knees without actually moving them. As you exhale, press down into your hands and knees. Tilt the pelvis back, tuck the chin to your chest and dome the upper back. It's like an angry cat here. Again, as you inhale, pelvis tilts forward, heart and chest lift, look up. Exhale, down into the hands, dome the upper back. If my hand was between your shoulder blades, you'd be trying to press it away right now. 2 more times with your breath. Inhale, pelvis tilts forward, heart lifts, look up. Exhale, dome through the back, press the earth away. 1 more time. Inhale, belly drops, heart lifts, look up. Exhale, press the earth away, dome through the back. Find a flat back, a neutral spine. Send your buttocks back towards your heels. We call it child's pose. You might want to creep your hands further forward. Drop your forehead down to the ground between the arms. You may find that your forehead doesn't come down, and you may find that you can't sit your buttocks all the way back to your heels. That's okay. Just do the best that you can. Child's pose is a resting pose. It's really lovely for the low back, for the hips. But if you've got sore knees, it can also be fairly tricky. Take a big breath in here. Stay for your breath out. And then thread your right arm across and underneath your left armpit out to the left, back of hand to mat, palm to ceiling. And then drop down so your right cheek and temple is to the ground, the gaze is towards the left arm. Here what we're doing is creating some space behind the right shoulder blade, changing its position, its set on the body, allowing the muscles and tissues around that to release. Take 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath here. Press into your left hand. Unthread your right arm to the top of your mat, back into child's pose. Pick up your left hand, thread it underneath your right armpit all the way to the side. Drop your left cheek or temple to the mat. Gaze past your right arm. And again, just take a couple of breaths here. Sometimes this can feel really good and other times it's a little tight. You might like to explore lifting the bum away from the heels a touch. It might give you a better, more comfortable stretch. It's up to you. Really important that you take time in each posture to explore how your body feels and how it's responding, what you might need to change to modify for your own specific needs. Press into your right hand, unthread your left arm, reach it forward. Use your next breath in. Come up past your all fours. Rock your weight forward so the front of your shoulders are over your fingertips. So it's an extended all fours or supported plank pose. And then as you bend your elbows, belly to mat. Now you can come belly to mat in 2 ways. If you're quite strong in the upper body, you might just bend your elbows and release belly, chest, chin at the same time. Now that's quite hard. If you're not so strong in the upper body, as you rock forward and bend your elbows, you'll slip down, hips, belly, chest, forehead, like that. What I don't want you to do is just go and fall down onto the mat. It's not so helpful. So let's try that again. Either way, belly, chest, chin simultaneously, or just rippling it down, following the line of your body, being safe. Once on your belly, toes are untucked, tops of feet to the mat. That's the shoelace side of your feet. Press into them so your kneecaps lift, the legs are firm and toned. Belly draws in. Hands are underneath your shoulders, fingertips in line with the top of your shoulders. As you inhale, Lift your head, lift your chest. We call it Bhujangasana or Cobra pose. From here, hover your hands just above the mat. Use the strength in your back to keep you up. You know how high to come when you do this. Take a moment here, keep breathing, feel it. Good, another breath in. As you exhale, lower your forehead down. Let's do that 2 more times with your breath. Inhale, firm the body, lift the head, lift the chest. Exhale, forehead down. 1 more time. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, forehead down. Press your hands into the mat. Send your buttocks back to your heels for child's pose, long in the sides of the body. Rock your way into your all fours, your tabletop position. Keep your chest and your hips square to the mat. Keep pressing into your hands. The general rule is that everything touching the mat presses down actively. Everything off the mat is stretching in whatever direction it's pointing. Send your right leg out behind you. Try not to hike the front of the hip up. Try and keep the front of the hips very square to the mat. Reach your left arm in front of you. If this is too strong, left hand stays down and just have the leg out behind you. That's totally okay. If you can get both, have both. Hold and reach, hug the belly in. Take 2 more breaths here. We call this bird dog. 1 more breath here. Hand down, knee down. Other side. Left leg long out behind you. Toes draw back to the knee, heel presses away. Square it up. So the bony front of your hips, your AS-IS, you want pointing directly down towards the mat. Reach that right arm forward. Maybe look a touch towards the top of your mat. Hold and reach. Breathe. Here we're stabilizing through the center of the body. We're waking up your core. Big breath in. Exhale, hands and knees to the mat. Tuck your toes under. Lift your sit bones up and back for downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog can be super challenging, and particularly when we hold it for a long time. So you might well find your heels don't come down to the mat. If you're really up on your tiptoes and it's really uncomfortable, try taking a gentle bend into your knees so you can lift the sit bones up and back. I want your low ribs pulling in and round your armpits towards your heart space so it feels like you're hugging the shoulder blades around the body. Lower arms pull towards each other without actually moving. Fingers are spread really wide. Belly is on. Kneecaps are lifting. Let your head go, the ears between the upper arms, and sometimes you can even take this little peek down towards the chest or the belly. And once you find downward dog and comfort there, take a big breath in. Stay for the breath out. Lift the gaze, look at your hands, and step your feet to the top of the mat. Now, for some people, it'll be one big step, and for others, it'll be lots of little steps to the top of your mat. It does not matter. When you get there, feet are hip width apart. Toes ever so slightly turned in for your forward fold or Uttanasana. Let your head be heavy here. Let your jaw go, and then you can hold opposite hand onto opposite elbow. The arms just dangle, so the weight of your head and your torso, along with gravity, is what draws you down into this fold. Tight hamstrings, sore back of legs, little bend in your knees. This is a great stretch for the whole back line of your body. Take another 2 breaths here. Release the hands from your elbows. Bring your palms to your mid-shins for a halfway lift. It's like you're peeking underneath a fence, so pull the belly in. Shoulders away from ears, crown of head extends long in front of you. Look forward on your inhale here. As you exhale, fold. Now when I say halfway lift, resist the temptation just to keep the spine rounding and just pick up the torso halfway, a little like this. The tendency when you're beginning is to do that. So instead, palms to shins, crown reaches forward, shoulders back, peek under the fence, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Press down into your feet, unravel all the way to stand. Reach your arms wide. Gather your palms up and overhead, Ardha Hastasana. And as you exhale, arms go down by your side, palms face forward, Tadasana or mountain pose. So here we have the foundation of all our standing postures. It looks really easy and simple and like nothing's happened, but close down the eyes and feel underneath the skin. Take your attention to the soles of your feet. Spread your toes and soften them. And then lift from the arches, the calves, the knees, the thighs. Little tuck of tailbone, low belly draws in and up. Front ribs, instead of flaring out, knit back in together so the whole waist cinches and corsets in. Collarbones, shoulder blades rest on the ribs. Instead of jutting the chin out, pull it back in slightly and then lift through the crown of the head. There will be a natural sway to your body here. It won't be rigid. Take a full breath in. Stay for the breath out. Let's pop all those postures together with some flow. Open your eyes. First round, really slowly, very wordy. Speeding it up with less words as we go. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. Exhale, little softening of your knees, firm belly, fold all the way forward. Hands to shins for your halfway lift, long spine, breath in. Breath out, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands. Step your feet right back to the back of the mat for plank pose, shoulders over wrist. Drop your knees straight down to the mat to support yourself. As you breathe out, belly to mat, so either straight line or hips, belly, chest, chin, depending on your strength. Tops of feet pressed down, body engaged. Inhale, Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, forehead down. Tuck your toes under. Press up through your all fours. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out, head heavy. Gaze to the top of your mat. Step to the top of your mat. Now 1 step, 2 step, 10 steps, it does not matter. Inhale for a halfway lift, look forward. Exhale to fold, let it go. Press into your feet to stand, reach for the ceiling, Ardha Hastasana. Hands simply draw down to heart space, Samastiti. That's 1 round. We're going to do 2 more, a bit more fluid, few less words. Don't get caught up in it. Just move with your breath and let it feel good. Let's begin. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, soft knees, firm belly to fold. Halfway lift, breath in, long spine. Exhale, fold. Big steps back, plank pose, knees to earth. Breath in. Exhale, belly to mat. Cobra pose, inhale. Forehead down. Tuck your toes through your all fours, downward facing dog. Take a breath out. Look to the top. Inhale, big steps, top of mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. All the way to stand, reach for the ceiling, breath in. Hands to heart, breath out. 1 more round. Inhale, reach high. Exhale to fold.
Halfway lift, breath in.
Fold, breath out.
Big steps, breath in.
Knees down, belly to mat, breath out. Cobra pose, breath in. Forehead down, breath out. Tuck your toes.
Down dog for your inhale. Settle into your dog, exhale. Look to your hands, step, step, half lift, top of your mat, inhale. Fold to the breath out. All the way to stand, arms to the ceiling, breath in.
Hands simply to heart space, breath out. We call that Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutation. Really nice to do a couple of them first thing in the morning or really any time of day. If you're unsure what to do and you just want to stretch out the body and get some movement, do some of them. They feel really nice. Breath in, reach your arms high. Breath out, fold.
Step your right foot back. Drop the knee to the mat. Now have a look at your left foot. I want your knee directly over the ankle, so we don't want the knee tracking forward. It loads it in a way that won't be so friendly to it. Knee a little behind the ankle is okay, but stacking the joints is your absolute ideal alignment. Right toes can tuck or untuck, it's up to you. Fingertips down either side of that left foot. Squeeze your right buttock, it'll help release the front of your right leg. Look forward, hug your belly in. If this feels okay, stay here. If you want a little more, maybe raise up, hands towards your hips. If you're very upright and that right knee is underneath you like this, you might like to slip that right knee a little bit further back so you can feel a stretch in the front of the right thigh. If this feels okay, perhaps reach your arms up and overhead. Good. Palms are about shoulder width, they face each other, pinky fingers slightly turning in. Don't let the shoulders go up to the ears, drop them down away from the ears here. And notice here, if I'm flaring my ribs forward, I dump into my low back and it does not feel nice. So hug those low ribs in. There's a lift of the front of the pelvis and a dropping down of the back of the pelvis. Everything is really contained here, belly drawing in. Press down into the sole of the left foot. Squeeze your right buttock. Take a big breath in here. As you exhale, hands will come down either side of your left foot. Tuck your right toes and lift your right knee. Fingertip lunge. Press that right heel away from you. Squeeze your right thigh. It's like you're trying to power up that right leg to charge forward. Again, left knee over the ankle. If this feels good, maybe to the fingertips. Maybe you hover the hands just off the mat. So you want this long line, crown of head, down the spine, down the back of that right leg and out of the right heel here. You can drop your knee at any time it's too strong. Take a breath in. Stay for the breath out. Hands to hips. Press into that left foot to lift the chest up. If you feel very wobbly, step that right foot in just a touch. If this feels good, reach your arms high for crescent lunge, we call it. 10 toes point forward. Hips are squaring to the front. Right buttock is squeezing to release the front of the leg. Ribs aren't pulling out, they're drawing in. Settle on down. You should feel a nice stretch in the front of that right leg and a lot of strength happening in your left one. Take a big breath in here. Exhale, hands come down. Simply step to the top of your mat. Let it go. Left foot comes back, other side. Knee drops. Check your alignment. Right knee over the ankle. Joints are stacked. If that feels good, hands to hips, rise it up. If that left knee is very close to the right and you're up like this, then you can absolutely stay here. But I suggest you try slipping the left knee a little further back so you can feel a stretch into the front of that left leg. If this feels okay, arms can reach high, squeezing the left buttock, shoulders drop down, palms face each other, looking forward or gently up to where the front wall meets the ceiling. It's a good place to look. Take another 2 breaths here. You can feel the pelvis sinking forward. You can feel the stretch in the front of this left leg. It should be nice. Keep pressing down into your right foot. Try not to grip its toes. Big breath in. Exhale, hands come down, fingertips frame your right foot. Left toes tuck under, off the left knee. You might want to shorten the stance for balance. Press your left heel away from you, squeeze your left thigh, hug your belly in, press into your right foot, lighten your hands. Maybe they hover. It's quite strong. Good. Hands to hips, press into your right foot to lift the chest. Nice to put right hand to belly, left hand to sacrum, and just kind of bring the front of the pelvis up, lower the tailbone down. Feels stable. When all of that feels good, arms will come up towards the ceiling for crescent lunge. Take another big breath in here. Stay for your exhale. Another breath in. Hands will come down. Step it to the top of your mat. Breath out. Take a halfway lift for your inhale. Fold for your exhale. Step your feet back, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Drop your knees to the mat. Send your legs around to the side. Come all the way to a seat and extend your legs long out in front of you. So like at the beginning of the practice, you might want to sit here on a book. Yellow Pages is great. I don't know if we ever still have them at home anymore, but they're kind of perfect for this. Otherwise, a big fat book of any kind or a little pillow, just to help neutralize the pelvis. So if you're sitting and your pelvis is tilting back, it's a really far posterior tilt. When I ask you to fold forward, you're not going to be able to. You're going to be like this because there's no room. Whereas if your pelvis is quite neutral and upright, you're going to be able to fold forward with much, much more ease. Draw the toes back towards you, press the heels forward, press the back of the legs into the ground and squeeze your thighs. That's your legs. Sit tall through the crown of the head, let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, you're pivoting from the hips, not rounding through the spine. So instead of reaching for your toes like this, and it's like, I can't get there, sit very tall and tilt forward, pivoting from the hips. You can even put your hand here in the front of the hips and feel it. And it might mean that you can come just to here, and that's perfect. Or it may be that you can come further. Hands either side of your legs. Some of you will reach your feet really easily, but not if it means rounding through the upper body. Have a slight narrowing of your shoulder blades towards each other, and that will help prevent that rounding. Keep your gaze beyond your toes rather than down. When you look down, you start to fall down. Take a breath in, grow long through the crown of head. Breath out, perhaps fold a touch deeper. Breath in long through crown. Breath out, maybe fold a touch deeper. One more breath here, keep strong in the body. Exhale. Walk your hands back in towards you for your breath in. Stay for your breath out. Shift your bum a little closer to your heels. Come on down to your back. And when you get there, draw your knees in towards your chest, one hand on each knee. Allow a gentle rock side to side, just pressing out the low back on the mat. Feels nice. Good. Take your arms wide, back of hands to mat, palms up. Some people may prefer a bend in the elbows to what we call cactus arms. It's up to you. Try and keep the back of the right shoulder touching the ground as you let both of your knees drop all the way over towards the left. If you find that they don't come down to the ground comfortably, and they might not, you can grab that book or pillow and slip it underneath your left thigh and bring the ground closer towards you. Really, that's all the props do. They're bringing the ground closer towards you or sending it further away. Once you're here, just reorganize the chest, the shoulders. Maybe the gaze even drops out towards the right side. It's up to you. The higher you hug the knees to the chest, the higher up the spine you'll feel your twist. The lower the knees are towards the hips, the lower you'll feel it. Try not to have your knees lower than your hips, so they're either in line with the hips or a little above. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Supine twists or twists on your back, a great way of just kind of realigning the body. Twists are great for digestion. You might hear the belly rumble, mine is. And one more breath here. Good. At the base of your inhale, let your low belly hug in, so feel a connection to your core. Use that to draw the knees up to the middle. Use that to drop them over to the other side. When you get there, make any readjustments you need to. Turn the gaze if you can, and just soften on in. And close down the eyes. Just let all your attention sink into your body, underneath the skin. Really withdrawing from everything that's happening around you. Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Low belly draws in. Your inhale brings your knees back up to center. Place a hand on each shin or each knee. Squeeze in. Little rocks side to side. And let go of your legs and rest yourself right onto the back of your body. Arms down by your side. Ideally, palms face upwards. Creates a nice rotation and openness through the front of the chest. I like to press into the back of my head, lift the shoulder blades, draw them slightly together, and then rest my weight back upon them. Check in with the thighs and the buttocks, everything's soft and relaxed. Close down your eyes. And now just focus on your breath. Release any control you may have remembered to maintain on your breath, and just return to your natural breath, your own body's rhythm, in and out. If you find you're easily distracted, placing a count to the breath can be really nice. I like to count to about 4 for each breath in, and the same for the breath out. You can change that longer or shorter to suit you. We call this Shavasana, corpse pose. The body is still, but the brain is very focused and present, noticing and feeling without trying to analyze or understand. It's the place where the benefit of your yoga practice can settle in, take root. It's where your physical body, the tissues make memory. It's where you rest.
I like to stay in Shavasana for at least 5 minutes. You can stay longer or of course shorter. When it's time and you're ready to come out, start with gentle wriggle of fingers and toes, moving some life back into the body. Don't move quickly. Really enjoy and savor these last few moments. Drag the heels up the mat, knees to chest, hug in. Let yourself fall over to your preferred side and just lay for a moment on the side of your body. Eyes should stay closed ideally, or very soft gaze. And then keep them closed as you press up, back into a seated cross leg. We always end where we begin, hands to the knees, sit tall. Drop the shoulders from the ears. And notice how you feel for a minute. Thanking each of you for your practice with me here today. Hope you enjoyed it. Namaste.